Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ryal Thomas. Tonight's topic is titled, Stepping Out of the Background. And before I get started with the show, I just want to say something that may appear to be a little comical in the beginning, but I don't need you guys, after listening to this show, think that you're going to be going in tomorrow to work, saying you're quitting your job or you're going to be looking for some things that may or may not be in the best interest of you at this present time. But I'm going to be talking about some things that may encourage you to do some things that will be in the best interest of you in the future, for you in the future, I should say. You may be in a position where that you are doing a lot of the work and someone else may be enjoying the benefits of your work. You may be doing everything that the job requires in order to make the job succeed, in order to make the individual succeed, and it's nothing wrong with that. Believe me, it's nothing wrong with that. But if you've been in this position for a period of time and you feel that you have contributed to the company or contributed to an individual's success, and you feel that this is something that you would like to do, it's nothing wrong with feeling that way. And if you have an understanding employer, they should understand as well, because 9 times out of 10, they used to work for someone else too before they started their business. So they understand when it's time for you to move on. Let's take construction, for example. You may be working in the field of construction and, you're watching these houses, go up, and you're pouring the footings, you're doing the framework, and you're doing a lot of the things that make this possible. You're doing this to the point where you're feeling like, I can build my own house, and it's nothing wrong with feeling that way. If you've been there long enough to acquire all the skills, all the physical skills that's needed in order to build a house, then your work has been put in. But now, do not make the mistake. Now, hear me very carefully. Just hear this. Do not make the mistake and think that because you can physically do the work that you're ready to maybe open up your own business. Because, I encourage everyone or anyone to definitely reach for your dreams. Definitely reach for your dreams. And there are going to be some ups and downs. But don't think that they're going to be all good things coming your way. You may see your boss pulling up in a nice car. You may see that your boss is living in a nice area, and you may feel that these are things that you can do, and you're contributing to the success of your boss or the company. Let's just say that. Keep in mind that requires work. There's a lot of paperwork involved with maintaining a business. You have to know the ins and outs. And first and foremost, you must deal with you. You must understand that you have to understand individuals that you're dealing with. And because you're getting along with your coworkers, doesn't necessarily mean that you have the skills to get along with the average individual who may want you to fulfill a contract that's needed to be fulfilled when it requires a great deal of work. Because clients, customers, when they're paying their money, they want you to be professional. They want you to be able to answer all the questions that they may ask you. So remember, just because you are in a position where that you feel that it's time for you to move on, I'm going to be the first to tell you, please step out there. Step out there and believe. Believe that you can do it. But it's not going to be all peaches and cream. And keep that in mind as well. Some of these business licenses, it doesn't require but maybe 35, 45, 50 bucks to get a business license. But that's just a piece of paper. That's a piece of paper. But what comes behind that piece of paper, hopefully, is professionalism. And you must have that when you're dealing with the public. They expect you to have that. So if you're ready to jump from the background to the front, then you must have all these things in order. I'll tell you a little story real quick. It was a friend of mine. He was debating whether or not to open up a business. He didn't have but a few $100. And he was toying with the idea of just opening up a business. And he was extremely good, at what he was thinking about doing, as far as I understood it. And we talked one evening, and he said, Ryal, I think I'm going to go for it. And I said, well, you really have nothing to lose. And he stopped me right then and there and said, Ryal, I have everything to lose. I don't have but $300 or $400 in my checking account. I have rent due. I have other bills that are due. This is going to be a big step for me. I said, well, you know what? Sometimes we have to take that big step. Sometimes we have to jump out there and see what we can do, because as time goes on, and you're getting to a place in your life where that you become comfortable. And if you become comfortable based on the money that you are presently making, and you have set aside a certain amount each month to pay these bills, and it still leaves you with a few $100, so you feel content with that. You feel that you're on even grounds with everything. But see, there are higher grounds for you. And I'm talking to you out there, because there's someone out there that's thinking about this. There's someone out there that's thinking right now, is it my time to step out of the background? And I'm telling you, I'm talking to you. It's your time. It's your time right now to do what's on your heart, to do what you feel, to make a better life for you. There are going to be hard times. There are going to be times where you even question your decision. But think about the rewards. Think about the freedom. And some employers or some people may say, well, think about the stress. You need to think about all that too. You need to not only just look at the good, look at the bad as well. Look at everything before you step out of the background. Because if you step too soon without cleaning up your mind, without cleaning up a condition that you may be battling with, you may put yourself back further than you are or than you were. So you have to understand everything has to be in order when you take on something that's this challenging to you. You have to be physically prepared. You have to be financially prepared, but not so much financially. It all depends on what you're thinking about going into. So not so much financially, but you must have your will. You must be real with yourself. You must understand that, hey, this could very well happen, and that could very well happen. And for the individuals who happen to be married or happen to be involved in a serious committed relationship, make sure your partner is very important. It's extremely important. You make sure that your partner is on board with you. Because, see, that can make or break the idea of stepping out of the background. Because if your partner is not on board with you, when you start to come home and start to show excitement, at first the excitement is there because your partner is going to be all enthused, all excited for you until a bill is not paid or until you fall behind in rent. And that can create a problem. If someone is in your corner or standing beside you, not understanding what it takes to step out of the background, and someone standing beside you and they're saying, I knew this was going to happen. You should have stayed a little longer. And what are we going to do? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And everything they are saying is negative. See, you can't have that type of energy coming your way. You cannot have that type of energy because then you start to question yourself. You start to say to yourself, oh my God, this week I would have been receiving a check and I would have been able to pay that bill. Do you have any idea how many people have almost been put out of their home because they were venturing out? They were going for their dream. Do you have any idea how many people have stayed up all night long, have lost sleep because their dream was more important to them? They had the will to continue. And if you do not have the will to continue and to pursue your dreams, don't jump out there. You may lose your family. You may lose a lot. Because when I'm going to use the word, and I don't like to use this word, and I wish I could think of another word right now, but let me just use the word, when difficulties, I was going to use the word failure, but I don't like the word failure. But when difficulties come your way, and if you have a negative voice speaking to a positive energy, sometimes that negative voice is comforting to the ear. But the positive energy, 9 times out of 10, takes over. And it allows you to ignore that to a certain degree. And it allows you to continue on with your journey. So remember that. Before you step out of the background, sit down, have a serious talk with your loved one, have a serious talk with your family members, and let them know how strong you feel about this. Because this is something serious. This is something extremely serious. You have people all the time jumping out, and they wonder why they didn't make it. Because you didn't prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself mentally. Because it's easy to work for someone else. It's very easy to work for someone else. And on Friday, here comes an envelope with a check in it. See, that's just reaching your hand out and accepting what's being given to you or what's being earned. You have earned that pay. But if you feel that pay is not going to financially put you where you want to be in 5 years, where you want to be in 10 years, then you need to start making up in your mind, what can I do? And you start to look at every little thing around you. Learn everything you can possibly learn. Learn everything. Learn the customers. Learn the product. Learn how to be you. Learn how to modify your conversations based on individuals that you're speaking with. You can't talk to Dave like you talk to John. You can't talk to Mary like you talk to Sue. You have to understand the difference. You have to understand the difference when you're dealing with people. You have now become a servant. You have a service to offer. And whether you believe it or not, that service is you. That service is you. Because if you're not greeting people with a smile on your face and showing enthusiasm to your customers, people can pick up on that. People understand, and you said to yourself, wonder what went wrong. Maybe you didn't give enough eye-to-eye contact. Maybe you didn't answer the question in the right way. So before you step out of the background, you make sure that you've done your homework, that you've done your research. Because it's easy, but it's not as easy as you may think. Like I said, there's a lot of individuals that jump out and not look at the reality of what's about to happen. Anyone can go get a business card and say whatever they want to say. Anyone can run down and get a license, and they can put it on the wall. You know how many licenses only stay on the wall for a few months? You know how many business cards are stacked up on the shelf because your first job, you disappointed a client, or disappointed a customer, and you didn't do the proper research before you started to show yourself, show your talent, show what you can possibly do, and you get discouraged because you didn't do enough research on you. These are things that you need to understand. And it takes time. It takes time. So you just can't jump up and start thinking things are going to work out for the best because you have a license or you have a business card. If you're in a position, and I cannot say this enough, if you're in a position and you're getting tired of being in the background and things are not going your way, start to flirt. Start to flirt with the idea. And I'm not saying that you should do something, that maybe your supervisor, your manager, or your boss would not approve of, like going behind his back, talking to some of his clients and talking to some of his customers. You don't want to do that. But you want to be looking on. You want to be watching. You want to be seeing, is this something that you really want to do? You want to see his or her faults or his or her dedication, his or her coming into work early, leaving late. You need to observe all these things and understand this is the path that you're getting ready to jump on. And you must be real with yourself and think to yourself, can I do this? Do I want to do this? You may be a singer. You may be a singer that's in the background. It may be someone who's the lead singer. He or she may be out there in the front, but the song just doesn't sound the same without you backing them up. That song doesn't sound the same, but you're saying to yourself, I can hit that note. Matter of fact, I feel that I sound even better than the lead singer. You at home practicing. But you've been with this group for so long, you don't want to cross any lines. Now all of a sudden, you may have a chance to do something. You step out of the background because something happens and you grab the microphone. Now you get a standing ovation. So someone, the group, the crowd, they have just confirmed that you have what it takes. That's stimulating. That's motivating. So now you at home, you practicing. You practicing. Now you need to talk to some people. Now you need to start thinking about being the lead singer for maybe a different group. I'm not telling you, please don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong this evening. I'm not telling you to go in and hand in your 2 weeks notice tomorrow. I'm just clearly stating that if you feel that the time is right for you to start working on you and for you to start working on your career, working on your dreams, then you need to start working. You need to start doing things. You know, let a bill slip by. It's not the end of the world. Let it slip by. It makes you work even harder. See, sometimes you have to put a lot of pressure on you to get a lot of pressure off of you. And you may not understand that. But when you're put in a position or put in a situation where it starts to hurt, that's when change comes. See, everyone understands pain, whether it's physical pain or whether it's mental pain. Everyone understands that. And so sometimes putting a lot on you can take more off of you due to the fact when you start to clean your plate, when you start to move things around, it allows other things to come in. Remember that. Just remember that. And if you're thinking about doing some things, don't be sharing it with everyone. Don't be telling your coworkers what you're thinking about doing. You keep little things like that to yourself because, see, they can steal your energy. By the time they finish telling you, I would think twice about that. You know, you almost 10 or 15 more years, you'll be retiring, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you may be retiring, but not in a position in which you feel you need to be retiring in. So understand that. So when you have dreams and when you have ideas that's going to benefit you, you know, you don't go into your workplace and start to talk about, you know, I was thinking about doing this. And, you know, and next year, I'm going to do this. You know, and, you know, I could have done that a little bit better. I could have, no. Lay low. Lay low. And understand within yourself what you're trying to do. Because, see, you're not going to rob yourself of your own dream, but someone else can. And there is, didn't want to go here, but I guess I have to be real. There is a thing called jealousy. And that's a terrible energy. That is a terrible, demonic energy. When just because someone is standing beside you or sitting beside you or riding in the car to work with you, just because someone is standing beside you doesn't necessarily mean they're with you. And when I say with you, I mean with you mentally, with you financially, with you spiritually. You know, you have to pick and choose who you start giving serious, intimate conversation to, things that's going to structure your life. You need to really understand who you are talking to. So until you do understand it, keep things a little to yourself. I was watching a guy the other day, he was working out, and he was in his basement, and he was doing some things, and I happened to be over a client's house. And when I walked in, not out of disrespect, he closed the door. He closed the door so I couldn't see him. And that wasn't disrespectful. That was his time. That's what he was working on. That's what he was trying to achieve. He did not need to hear my conversation. He did not need to see me because he was into doing what he needed to do for himself. So my point was, if you're trying to do something for yourself, make sure you keep it to yourself. Because it's not a surprise to you when you're going to step out of the background, but let it be a surprise to others. And if you're speaking to someone in regards to your thoughts, make sure it's the right ear. Make sure you're speaking to the right ear. Someone that's going to give you sound advice. Someone that's going to motivate you. Someone that's going to encourage you. Someone that may say, it's about time. I was wondering when you were going to do that. Because after all, you were doing the work anyway. And like I said, do not let this be a sign of going in tomorrow, putting in your 2 weeks notice. Because there are other things involved with stepping out of the background. And you have to be ready. And again, if you have to be mentally ready, you have to be financially ready, you have to be spiritually ready, you have to make sure that you have the right partner that's with you to assure you that they're in your corner. Because it's a lot of pressure stepping out of the background. It's not easy, but it can be done as long as you have the will, the motivation, the encouragement of your family members, loved ones, and others who care about you. It can be done. It's your time. Think about this, and if it's your time to step out of the background, as they say, get to stepping. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. See you next time. I'm Ryal Thomas. Take care.